Hello and welcome back. If this is your first time here, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and in this video I'm doing a little bit of technical analysis and commentary on SoFi, Tesla, and Nvidia. I want to take a look at what each of those stocks are up to. I know that they are popular stocks, and I hold 2 out of the 3 of them in my portfolio, and I'll talk more about that later. I want you all to spread the message. Tell everyone that 2/3 times snowman equals 8. All right, if that joke missed you, write it down. Thank me later down in the comments. Absolutely love to hear from you. If you just want to groan about it, go ahead and do that in the comments too. All right, so I will be using the Moomoo app in this video, and later on I will tell you how to get up to 16 free stocks using my link that's down in the description. Also down in the description, I have my link to my Patreon, which has my Patreon exclusive content, as well as my Discord community that's over there as well. Sign on up for those things at your leisure. For right now, I want to get over to business, which is Moomoo. So here we're looking at SoFi, ticker symbol SOFI. And for SoFi, for earnings, I said that this was going to be big. I was expecting 10 to 12%. We got closer to 20%. And I talked a lot about long straddles on this channel. This is one that I went with straight up calls because of the homework that I've done on this one, the bullish bias that I had, and I was as certain as you can be without actually knowing something that SoFi was going to run on this, and it worked out very well for me. 55% is what it was just from Friday when I purchased those call options until Monday when I cashed them in, and then I sold $12 calls on this one and then over doubled that profit that I got on top of that, and that was really nice. And I have since then bought to close those positions that I did sell. So it did take a little bit of my earnings away. However, it doesn't then sacrifice my opportunity cost anymore. So I know that's a little bit advanced for some people, and for other people who are following along, great. You can let me know what you think of that sort of thing down in the comments and ask any questions that you want to. For SoFi, things are looking really well, sitting above the 200, sitting above the 50-day, and we actually have a little bit of an ascending triangle happening here. You could even call it a bullish pennant if you want to. We do have a drop in the RSI with the exception of that earnings day kind of buggering things up in there, and so that could be a momentum loss, and that's actually something for SoFi that could break the pattern. Instead of having a bullish uptrend where we continue upward, it could pull back on us, and that would actually be something, because I am a long-term investor in SoFi, that I would absolutely love more buying opportunities to happen below $10. And I think $10 is super, super important. I've talked about hard resist at $8 on this channel before, and I've talked about hard resist at $10. Earnings were enough to push us up over it. Well, if we look at today's price action, we are currently sitting at $10.02 as of the time of recording for this video. As the market progresses, we'd have to break solidly up above $10 to call that $10 support and be able to rest on it for a while. However, I think that we're on the wrong side of it right now to call it support. Instead, we'll call it resistance at 10. I think we need a solid break over 10 on good volume, on very strong momentum in order to keep us there for a while. And earnings were great, but there were a lot of people cashing in profits. There were a lot of people sitting on SoFi for a long time that were bag holders that turned profitable and that they wanted to capitalize on that. And that's why you see this engulfing candle happen over here on this next day. And if you could actually see you can see it. Let me bring that up forward. Let me put up the 5-day, and we're going to show up the full hours, and then you can see this right here is the continuation that we missed on it. This is what keeps it from looking like an engulfing candle that you see. So you actually see it drop down a little bit from there. So let me go back to the daily chart, since that's normally what I trade on anyway. So for SoFi, I'd absolutely love to see it break down below 10, down to like $9 per share, I think is where we start to sit. So right about where I have my cursor right now is about that $9, and you can see we've bounced off support there before. I think depending on what we see from the market, depending on what we see from SoFi, depending on how the prices move, I think that next hard support that we find, hard support right at $8 per share. I still think that that's the case. That would even dip us down below the 50-day. And if we saw a very big sell-off day, something that ripped us down below that $8 per share, I think that for me, that's a great time to sell put options, which would allow me to enter possibly at a lower cost basis. And if I didn't get those shares directly, I could still buy them on the open market, and I would still have that premium from selling those puts. I was doing that back under $5 per share. It worked out very well for me. I would most definitely do it again. And I'm talking for myself here. You can do your own research and make your own choices. This is not financial advice. But if I saw it dip below 8, knowing what I know and thinking what I think is going to happen for the company, they're still talking about profitability in Q4 of this year. So we'll see that strength play out most likely over the next 2 quarters. And so for me, watching it, should it ever drop down below 8 in the near future here, to me, a seller of those put options and even a further reduced cost basis on top of dollar cost averaging, I think would be a very strong move. So that's SoFi, and I'm going to move on from there over to our friend Tesla. There we go. And so for Tesla, I actually have a bullish channel drawn on here. And really what we see happen next is going to determine what's going on with Tesla. Is it going to break its 50-day? So if we reverse off the 50-day, I think that we have a chance to break up through the top of this bullish channel. And the advantage there, that would put a lie to the statement that I made that I said that we would sooner see $230 before we saw $300. And man, darn it if the market didn't try to make me a liar, because I said that before we peaked out at $299.29 leading up to their earnings, and I did take a put option position on that because I said if we had that run up to 300 that we would most likely sell off for earnings. That's what happened. Worked out super well. I think that's a 25% profit for me on that position, and it's also nice because that funds further shares of Tesla. So again, that's for my portfolio. You guys can let me know down in the comments what you think about plays like that or about Tesla itself. So we do have this channel happening, and like I said, if we reverse course, if we start popping back up again, maybe we do see that 300 first, and it does put a lie to my statement that I said that I believe that we'll hit 230 before we hit 300. So we're going to have to see. We have some decent bearish divergence going on where the price has increased on us, even though it dropped recently. If we put a little bit of a trend line right here off the recent bottoms that we have, low values are still rising and the high values are still rising. So to me, that looks like divergence with what we have in the RSI down here. So I think it is possible that we do break down below that value. Right now sitting at about 260, and 250 has actually been really good support for us. So 250, first area of support that we really find, 240, and then a breakdown beyond that to about 230. I would be surprised. I think that it would take some significant market bias to push us down to this part of the channel where we start to see about $215-ish to $220 per share. We'd have to see where exactly we land on that one. But for me, for those big drops for Tesla, because it's another stock that I've done extensive work on that's available over at the Patreon for my Tesla earnings forecast, which has panned out very well, better than what Wall Street had, and also my Tesla stock price prediction through 2030. To me, any time that we get that sort of drop is the time for me to take advantage of that price decrease. So for me, it's a discount watching Tesla drop down like that because I'm not trying to swing trade it to the upside from here. Instead, I'm just buying shares over time and adding it to my portfolio. Let's move on from there over to, So I do want to reiterate, I still am of the mind that we see 230 before we see 300. So, like I said, market's trying to make me a liar. Now we'll move over to NVIDIA. There we go. So NVIDIA, I also have my NVIDIA earnings forecast and my NVIDIA stock price prediction, and that's available over at the Patreon as well. Now that one is a Patreon exclusive at this point in time. I will put it out on YouTube closer to their earnings, which come out in August the 23rd. So right now, I have this bullish channel drawn on here, and you can see this is kind of the opposite direction of what Tesla was doing. So for Tesla it is currently rounding down this way and hasn't quite crossed the halfway point down to the bottom part of the channel. And then I said if we stay there, we could reverse and pop back up through the top. Well, NVIDIA's at the bottom of the channel. They did not quite make it halfway through the channel back up to the top, and they sort of failed and sold off of there a little bit. Now they've broken through the bottom of the channel. So it is possible that we see a little bit of a bearish breakout in that way for NVIDIA. And I don't think that it's one that runs very far. And I did say, should you join the Patreon, should you watch the video that I have for my NVIDIA earnings forecast, I do say that market sentiment plays a large part in the multiples that we trade on for any stock really, but NVIDIA is certainly no exception. So for this one, I said that for NVIDIA, we could see it all the way down as low as 400, which is quite the drop, by the way. So 400, let me put my cursor on it, 400 right there. So we dipped down below the 50-day. So far, we've actually held support right at about 436. It looks like you can see that we tagged it on our strong sell-off day. That our low price was actually just under 434. And then today when we opened at 438.5. So it's nice to hit that little bit of a bounce that we have, but it does not mean that the selling pressure is done for NVIDIA. And if I pop open the capital trend here, we actually have a net outflow right now for NVIDIA. So people taking profits, we can see a lot of that. The market's most likely going to be choppy anyway. If you looked at my video for the Qs and the SPY, we could definitely have that softness, and well, that's definitely going to impact where we're going to see NVIDIA's price go. I still think that there is a possibility, depending on the hype leading up to earnings and where we see the market at, I still think it's a possibility that we hit that 500 mark leading up to earnings. And if we do, I think it's also possible that we get a sell-off after those earnings. So if you want more commentary on that, like I said, there's a video available along with the spreadsheet for my earnings forecast for NVIDIA available over at the Patreon. That link is down in the description. So for right now, we did break down below the bullish channel that we had. It was a heck of a run for NVIDIA. As a matter of fact, even at its price right now, it's just an astounding victory over where it was. And so down to its 50-day, its 50-day sits at about, let me see, we can put this up here, $421. So 420, you're welcome, Elon. I know that he likes to play games and have jokes and all that kind of stuff through Tesla, through Twitter, which is now X, I guess. So make of that what you will. So I do think that it is possible that we can still reverse course between now and earnings, but it is also possible that we get a decent sell-off, a little bit more profit taking. In the meantime, especially now that we've left that channel for NVIDIA, it is possible that that trend would continue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments for that one. Let me put this up here for you. I did say Moomoo, which is the app that I've been using for my technical analysis and talking about in this video. Sign up using my link, you get 16 free stocks. Here's how it happens. You make your deposit of $100 or more, you get 15 free stocks valued up to $2,000 a piece. 5 free stocks for the $100 deposit and a $50 cash reward at each tier. $1,000 or $5,000 gets you 15 free stocks, 1 free share of Tesla or EXPE. Like I said, my Tesla earnings forecast also available over at the Patreon, and I've talked about it publicly here on YouTube, 5x by 2030. To me, that is incredible. So should you take advantage of this offer that I have for you through Moomoo, there's also that possibility of better turnout than what you initially got. So wonderful deal. Patreon, lots of value over there. Also, you can talk with me and my community members over in the Discord. Both of those links you can find down in the description. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. If you liked it, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Ring the notification bell to see any time that my videos come out. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.